Hello everybody, welcome to Live with Love. I am Love, it's a pleasure to meet you. And I have another little friend with me here today. That is Clifford, the little brown dog. He's coming adventuring with me today. Just adjust this a little bit. My hair's doing something funky these days, guys. It's a little frizzy, but that's okay. So how are you guys? I'm just kind of waiting for some of you to come in. The last couple days we've been talking about different subjects, and I took you through 2 small journeys in death. Who knew that we would be talking about death on this channel? Not me, I didn't know. But there's been a releasing happening since November, and oftentimes there are things we like to hold on to. Oftentimes there are things we're like, I really gotta throw that away. It could be an old t-shirt, could be some old socks. Oh, it just has a little hole in it. And yet we hold on to it. Why do we hold on to these things, I wonder? I think some of it has to do with how we were brought up, the era in which our parents grew up or their parents grew up in. For instance, I have family that went through different types of experiences in Poland where they were around at the time of the Nazis in Germany and everything that was happening there. And there was a lot of holding on to things, right? There was also a lot of like releasing and leaving quickly, right? So some people out there will say that that can travel in our line, in our family line, and that there's reasons why sometimes someone often will act in a certain way for a certain experience because even though they didn't have that experience, that experience was kind of trapped in the cells of family members, right? So family members were in a time of war, grandparents, great-grandparents, and then they raised children, and then those children raised children, and those children raised children. They might have been wanting us to hold on to things, wanting us to not appreciate money so much. Money was appreciated, but it was more like the haves and the have-nots. So we talk a little bit about, right now, about like what we hold on to that we can release, right? All right, some people are here. No, this is not history. This is if you're going down the spiritual path. If you're going down a path where nothing seems to be working in life and you're like, there must be something more, here you are. Hello, everybody. Good to see you. Just kind of waiting as people kind of pop on. Doing my little jibber jabber thing. How are you guys all today? Tell me where you're from, please. I'd love to know where people are from around the world. Currently, I'm in Colorado. Okay, yeah, sometimes we have a little meditation. Sometimes I answer questions. Sometimes there's a message that comes through under a certain topic. And sometimes it's just about what's really just going on and what I'm learning in my life down this path that I've been taking, because we have many lives and we have many little deaths. And for some reason, we're talking about a little bit on these last 2 channels about death. And that reason really is the releasing of things that we don't need anymore, guys. It's time to let them go. So that's part of death, letting go, right? And death is something that we don't normally talk about, right? It's a little taboo, or it's just a strange subject that, you know, some cultures actually it's a ceremony around death. Different tribal cultures and different people around the world, death is not necessarily feared, it can be celebrated. Hey Samuel, how you doing? Pacific Northwest, awesome champion, nice to see you. Hello to you, Brooke. We're just showing up. This is a channel where we kind of do some breath work together, where we just get in touch with us, like our heart. We don't have much time. We got someone from Rockland, California. Turkey, wow, I've been told that Turkey could be a place that I live. Pueblo, Colorado, welcome. I thought about heading south. I love the sand dunes that are south. All right. Thanks for the smile comment. Yeah, that would be my great-grandmother. Thank you, Grandma. All right. And I have my dad's blue eyes. Thank you so much, you guys, for showing up today. You decided to press play, and therefore, apparently, you want to know a little bit about what it is to let go of things, a little bit about death and releasing, but it's not a physical death. It's more of the death of like the little you, the little I, the little me, the one that plays small, the one that for most of our lives we either were told we were or we decided to play like we were because of protection, wanting to be included, what else? Be liked, people pleasing. I never really knew what people pleasing was until I realized, I was like, yeah, okay, there's some of that in me. So this is also a channel where we're looking at ourselves. We're taking a look. Our topic a couple lives ago, was narcissism. And that topic, that's something I had to look at within myself as well, right? I was going through different experiences where I saw certain things in family members, right, that help bring me up, right? And I saw a few things in friends and I was like, whoa, this is crazy. What's going on here, right? And so I check out that video. It's been saved. You guys can check that on the replay. All right. Do I have a significant other? Yes. Guess who that is? It is me. I'm the significant other. This channel is also about self-care, self-love. So we still give to others and we still, do wonderful things. But is your own cup full? We hear that saying a lot, fill your own cup first, because if you don't, you're not able to give to others. If you're a mother and you're always giving in your family and you're exhausted, or you're a father and you're doing that and you're exhausted and you can't take it anymore, it's because there's self-care that's needed. It's not enough just to go work out for a little bit or go for a walk around the block, although it is helpful. All right. So glad you guys are all here. Okay. What am I going to talk about today? Let me think. No headband today, just hair up. All right. Let me think. I'm going to kind of tap in a little bit. There was something that came in this morning. Okay. Sometimes I'll close my eyes, sometimes an actual message will come through, so just FYI, just kind of stick with me and you'll kind of see what occurs. A little time we'll have some breath work as well. And right now you can just breathe with me. This is me just centering here so that I can get my mind a little bit out of the way, because our minds do like to take over, and just breathe. Take a deep breath with me right now if you would. And hold at the top, and then release. Take another deep breath. Hold, and release. We're getting in touch with you right now. Take a deep breath. And release. Now, if you were breathing through your chest, take note. Now I want you to breathe through your belly. Those of you who are breathing through your belly, now switch and breathe through your chest. Ready, set, go. Hold and release. Let's do 2 more of these. Ready? Breathe in. And release. Do you guys feel like a little something in the head? A little bit of lightness? Breathe in. And release. Notice the difference between breathing through your belly in your body and breathing through your chest. If you've chosen to be here today, welcome. Welcome to Live with Love. Welcome home to you. Breathe in and breathe out. Here we work with frequency. We work with our clair senses. You have more than the physical senses that you've been taught. And here's the kicker. You've had them since you came here. You're going to be going down a path of remembrance. And it is important to connect with this God particle, if you will, this all-spark that lies within your heart. Breathe in and release. Just notice, feel your body. Any sounds you hear in the background simply drop you deeper within you. Breathe in. Feel the frequency. Breathe. This could be the one moment in your day that you take for you. Connect with you on a deeper level. Breathe in, breathe out. Breathe in and breathe out. The frequency playing right now is 963 hertz. A cleansing of the aura, a purifying of the space, a releasing of negative energy. And there are pyramids in the background. Have you ever been to Egypt? I have. I got to meditate in the Great Pyramid. I do not think there are subtitles on here. How did that feel for you guys in your body? Did you reach a stillness for yourself? Okay. Jesus is the Prince of Peace. Yes, he is one of them, for sure. There have been so many masters on this earth, and really, it is just amazing that Yeshua, Jesus, like it's amazing what he kept alive, right? Through his death, showing us that we are more than our bodies, that death is not the end. That was a great lesson. Death is not the end, and that's what we've been talking about here lately, is death. I'm very sorry to hear about your mother and father. And your sister. And your brother. Wow. That's a lot to go through. I'm happy you're here with us. Hello, Sweden. New Hampshire. Alright, guys. Keep it clean in here, if you will. Honor the space. Hello, England. How you doing? Newcastle. I don't think I went there when I was in England. I just got back from Glastonbury last January. Okay. So, death is not the end. It is possibly the beginning. Those that lose others in life, it's pretty traumatic. Those who lose a part of their life and have to restart again. That could be being married and getting divorced. That could be giving birth to a child and then not having the child anymore, or miscarriaging, right? There are many deaths, and it's not just the physical death that happens, it's the people, us, that are here too, that go through a type of death as well. I had someone on here a month ago that really didn't know what to do after the death of their mom. And I said, did your life revolve around your mother? And sometimes that happens. We take care of family members, and then when that time passes, we don't know what to do with ourselves because we're so used to going and going and going. So we have a lot of mini deaths in our lifetime. From the time we're born till now, we have many, many deaths of our personality, who we are, who we want to be, who we strive to be. Like, there's so many different variations, right? Today's topic for this channel seems to be something I really resonate with, and that has to do with when you're on this path and you go from the life you had before, where you just did life, right? Daily life, stuff would happen to you, you would react, you'd either get pissed off or not get pissed off, or just be really confused and be like, why is my life this way? I had someone recently say, why do so many bad things keep happening to them, right? And they just couldn't get over it. And that's where we are in the beginning. In the beginning, we often go to a place of victimhood, where we feel like life, something is happening to us. Something is being done to us. And we're like, why? Why? And whether you believe in God or not, we're always like looking up like, what the hell is going on, right? Why? You know, when these different things happen and we just can't wrap our heads around it, right? Why do people die sooner than we think they should, right? I had a talk with someone recently about their mother, and there was this idea that the mother was not trying anymore. And I said, did you know that just like in birth, there's a gestation period, say like 9 months about. Apparently death also has a gestation period generally. Like when a human goes, at least under natural circumstances, I don't know if they get an inkling beforehand if it's not natural, but there's a gestation, it's called a reverse gestation, and it's a 9-month period before someone passes. So like those who are older, maybe you know someone like this. I had a grandfather that I brought a gift to when I was 16 years old. And he got all teary-eyed, and he was not an emotional man. He was a very hard man to get close to. And he was just so happy. And I was like, oh, he's like, you know what I like? I like one of those bola ties. I've always liked one. I never had one. I said, oh, the next time I go to Colorado, I'll get you one. And he looked at me and he's like, oh, I don't think I'll be around any longer. And me, I was like, no way. No. Jaja, that's what I call him because I'm Polish background. I was like, Jaja, you're gonna be here. Don't talk like that, right? He knew that within months he was gonna be gone. And this wasn't like something he suffered from. He ended up having one heart attack, and then he was in the hospital. He seemed like he was possibly recuperating, and within 2 weeks had a second heart attack, and he was gone. And he knew. So think about that. If a person has a sense of when they're not going to be around anymore, and they start to slow down and they prepare, right? Some people will prepare when they're already in that age, right? They'll start gathering things, saying goodbye to their family, and their family's like, don't say goodbye, you're still here, like, live life. And this particular friend, she was getting really very activated, I will use the word, because her mom, she seemed like she wasn't trying anymore. And I said, well, she might know something we don't know. And we just might not want to hear it because we want them around longer, right? All right, let me see if there are any questions here so far. A few people are digging my voice. There is something in my voice. Recently, within the last 2 years, many people have told me something about the frequency of my voice, which is part of why I started showing up here on YouTube. I don't know what it is, but there's been changes in my life and information coming in that I can now share with others. And so one of the ways is me showing up here live at 11:11 Pacific time daily. Another way will be me actually reading you guys a story. Is that weird or what? I'm going to be offering that when I start my community. As soon as my website is in that place where I can do that. That way it can be a Zoom link for you guys. And I'll get to see all your wonderful faces on a regular basis if you so choose to join the club, the tribe, the community, whatever you want to call it. What's another word besides tribe? I like that word, but I'm curious if there's other types of words for tribe. A gathering of people. So some of the thing that happens when we start to change things in our life for the better, maybe you stop drinking, maybe you stop plant medicine, all of a sudden you're like, I don't need it anymore, or it's not doing the same thing for me. There's kind of a journey we start to go down from the very beginning where we're running on autopilot and everything is like being done to us. Like, that happened to me, that person cut me off, that person gave them a ticket, right? And then we move to a different place. We start going a little deeper inside, and we start looking for solutions to shift out of where we are, because either we're stagnant, we're not going anywhere, we want something new, or we've been stuck in something for a while that we really didn't like to begin with, but we just kind of went along with. Either you were dating someone for a little while and you're like, well, we're kind of together, so we just kind of stayed together, right? Even though it's not really a match, right? Or there was some sort of job you took on because your parents were like, oh, this would be great for you. You should go to college and do this, and I'll pay for it if you go to college and do this. And then you're in it, right? And you're like, well, I got to use it. I just did it. No, you don't. You could totally pay for something and not use it at all. I did that same thing with a coaching program. Thousands, $2,000-$3,000 coaching program, and I did participate. And then it kind of like went to the wayward, and I think it really is because I'm not really a life coach. I'm not here to coach you guys. I'm here to relay a little bit about my journey, my personal experience, and get you back in touch with here. Give you a moment in time on a daily basis where you get to breathe And breathe more than just the shallow breath you do when you walk around in your day, but really breathe and connect. Connect to the person that you are, the person that you were, I want to almost say as a child, possibly, because part of my energy is that of childlike fun. I like to have fun. I juggle, I dance, I climb trees. These are all things that I'm fully recommending to people to do something childlike on a regular basis. Fly a kite. If you have snow, make a snow angel, make a snowman. These are all ways to connect deeper to you, believe it or not. Even if you're not a meditating person and you're like, I don't know about all this breath stuff, I breathe all the time, there's not a big deal. Well, it's kind of a big deal because it's the only thing that gives you life, that keeps you alive. Breath is the life. All right. All right, checking out if there's any questions so far. So we go from victimhood, and then we get into from that is being done to me and being a victim to, oh, that is not being done to me, that is for me. Like, how is something for you when something occurs in your life and you're like, oh, that was crappy. I didn't like that at all. You know, how is that experience for you? And part of the way it's for you is because when you go from autopilot to deeper connection within yourself and you're going down this path, you realize that life isn't happening to you, that you are a creator of your reality, that you have a choice in everything, even if it's a choice that you don't want to make, right? There's still a choice. You might have to move because of a job, or because you have kids that are in a different state and you want to be closer to them for some reason, right? To be closer to them, that's the reason. But you guys get the idea, right? There are things that happen in life, and when you start looking at them as the observer, as the witness, where you just kind of look at it like it's a movie on a screen, right? We do that every day, where we look at funny things on the screen all day long and we're observing it, right? We're not in it. We feel like we are some of the time, like we can laugh, we can cry with a movie, but overall, we're not in it, and we can choose just to look at it. Same thing when you're having an intense conversation with someone. Instead of reacting and hopping right in there, that person that is on that deeper path will take a pause, a sacred pause, like you did at the beginning of that breath that we were doing. They'll take a pause and they'll let the show continue. Whatever is happening in front of you is continuing, but you're observing. It's kind of like those rubberneckers. They call them rubberneckers, right? When there's an accident on the highway and everything on this side just starts to go slow, right? We all hate that, right? But in this analogy, it's kind of good. Everybody goes slow because they're observing what's happening. They're not in it. They're not in the accident that happened. They're not experiencing the trauma that happened, right? But they are observing. And that's what happens when you go on the deeper path. Beyond that path, what can happen is there are more things that can arise, possibly a dark night of the soul. I would say I went through one of them. I thought they were only one time only, but no, there's a couple of them, people tell me, and it just depends on the choices you make and the kind of the lessons. I don't want to say lessons you learn, but like the opportunities that show up for you to show up and make a change in your response or in action. Every day there are responses and reactions, and you have the choice. What does that look like? Do you fly off the handle? Do you keep it together? Do you shrink? Do you shrink and get small and quiet and allow whatever happens to transpire because you don't like confrontation? What is it for you? These are the questions I'm posing today. Okay, let's see. Hello, everyone. Okay. It's interesting. People have a lot of different expressions about biblical type analogies. So, as I'm going on, what can happen as you're in this area? Say you're in that middle ground, you're on the path, you're going towards the goal of expansion, right? Awareness and expansion and mindfulness, creating heart and mind coherence, and not allowing the mind to run away. Like run away and tell yourself stories that get you depressed, get you sad, create confusion in the mind, give you self-doubt. This is a time when you connect with your heart that you silence that mind. And you can do this with a mantra, a meditation, or a prayer. It can be a simple I am, like, I am successful. If you're not feeling successful and you fall asleep saying the words, I am successful, and then envision yourself in your success, but not only vision it or image it, but feel it within your heart. At one time, there was a time in your life that you felt success, right? You know what that feels like. And you can bring that emotion, that feeling back into your heart, and you can envision it within your mind. And that helps rewire some of the minds butting in, if you will. It's a beautiful mind, right? We also have a beautiful ego that works with that mind. But what we are after is connecting more to the soul, to that God aspect of yourself, the universal law of love, right? Of love. Pleased to meet you. And as we go on that path, when you go down those deeper, darker places again, because it kind of goes like this. We're in an ocean, guys. We're in a wave. And when it goes like this, we're in that place where we were kind of down at the bottom and we didn't really know what was happening, but we were just autopilot on life. And then our boat rose a little bit, right? We're going up a little bit in the ocean, you know, our submarine. And then you're in that spiritual path, things are great, you're looking at the fish, there's like octopus out there, you're totally safe. And then you feel like you're taking on water, right? Your submarine starts to leak in different places, right? And you're like, what's going on? When I'm on this great spiritual path, everything should be coming up roses, life should be great. And you can go into these slumps, just like the waves in the ocean. There are times that like everything rises and then, right, the tide goes up and the tide goes down. We experience that like on the coast. And what can happen is you can get to a place in your path where instead of that happened to me like it was in the beginning and that happened for me, you start asking, why is that happening for me? Because you start having some self-doubt again. And this came up early this morning when I was, there's a channeler that I enjoy listening to, and she was bringing up some of these topics. She actually lives by the ocean, so that's probably where the ocean analogy is coming from. I actually took some notes, but I don't know where they are. Okay, let's see if I can remember this. Let me see. Oh, you know what? Be right back. All right, I remembered where they were. I wanted to write notes because it's just easier sometimes to like remember a topic that came up that I feel is helpful for you. So here are some important questions to ask yourself. You know how we sometimes ask questions, and I'm always about asking the right questions. You know, when someone tells me something is impossible, I will look at them, I will hear them, but I'm the observer. And so when they tell me something isn't possible, it could be fully because they themselves think it's not possible. It doesn't mean in reality that it's not possible. It could also be a belief that they have that somebody told them, like an employer said, well, this is how this works. And so they always believed it, but they never checked into it. So I like to ask questions. Sometimes it annoys people, but that's okay. You know, we're always told there's no stupid question, right, when you're in school, and I've decided to apply that. There's no stupid question, right, necessarily. There are odd questions, but not stupid ones. So, the questions that came up, and this is where you don't let fear, let's see, okay, not having fear run your life. And how do we not let fear run our life? You let life meet you where you are. How do you let life meet you where you are? Most of the time when we ask questions, like, why is that done to me? What is that for? It's because we're looking for some sort of answer. What if you asked a question that wasn't asked in order to have an answer? I'm going to say that one more time. What if we asked ourselves questions where we weren't looking for an answer? We weren't looking for a way to make us feel safe, necessarily, right? Because when things happen to us in life, happen for us, oftentimes we want to spring into action. Okay, what do I need to do to make myself feel safe? To fix this? What if you're not fixing anything? What if something arises in your experience that doesn't necessarily need to be fixed? These are good questions for us to ask ourselves. So one of the key points, there were a couple questions, but one of the key points, I'm going to read it here. If nothing is wrong here in that moment, in that now, how would I be with this? How would I sit with this? So if you had something going on in your life or going on right now, and you asked yourself that question, if I didn't look at this like this is wrong, how would I sit with that which is in front of me? And of course, always, this is in an experience where you're not physically or emotionally in danger, right? Common sense, right? So if nothing is wrong, how would you sit with that particular thing that happened in your experience? How would you feel? There's something else that's come in. When you have doubt in your life, and you've been on this grand expansive path for a long time, doubt can feel like there's a misalignment in your body. Manifestation is something people talk about a lot on the energetic path, and like, why is the things that I want to create not creating my reality? What's happening? And you think there's like a misalignment in your energy, like you're not matching up to what you want. That can be true, but doubt is not failure. I just want to tell you that. Questions are not failure. If you want reassurance in life, it doesn't erase all the improvements that you've made in your life so far, right? Just because you want that sense of being more secure, more safe, it doesn't erase all of what you've already brought to the table, all that you're doing to be that highest version of yourself that you know that you are. And you're trying to delete the distractions in your life. You're trying to quiet things down possibly a little bit in your life. You've possibly been a hermit and just kind of went within for quite some time, and now you're coming out of that, but you're not sure how to come out of it because you've been silent for so long. Another question you can ask yourself is whatever's happening in front of you that people will use the word triggered, but you can use the word activated, which is something very similar. If something is activating you, what is needed for you to feel safer? If you're worried about a bill, some sort of payment you have to make, fixing your car, these little things are human things, and they come up in life. What do you need to feel a little safer? You can ask yourself that question. What can I do for myself right now that allows me to feel safe and not let my mind go on and go on and go on and tell those stories? And this other question, this is important. Is this a moment for action, or is this a moment for accompanying? Accompanying, like, I need to sit with this for a little while. Oftentimes when we react, we might look like we're here and we're in our body and we're functioning and we're talking with people but we're really somewhere out here. Our soul is not actually in here. Our soul is surrounding this. If you can get wrap your head around that this body, our soul is not here. It's all out here, and it's how we move. This, what they call an aura, this is the way in which we're able to move this body, and our body functions and has so many different fields that they can even see in quantum physics, right? They can measure an energetic field, and they can see what it's doing. So sometimes when experiences are wow, we can start responding verbally very quickly. We can start moving very fast, this is what we need to do, and we go into survival mode, right? So get yourself back in the body and ask yourself, do I need to sit with this? And it's hard to sit with fear. We don't like feeling it. It's not comfortable. But recently we've been talking about different kinds of fear. We've been talking about letting go of things that aren't working for us anymore. We've been talking a little bit about death, which is also a releasing. So these are all important things that we can ask on a daily basis. How can I sit with this for a while and be my own witness? Can I feel the feelings that are coming up and not push them aside? Sometimes they're heart-wrenching. Sometimes it's time for you to scream into a pillow. I've done that on this channel, by the way. It's where you just grab that pillow and you're like, ah! Sometimes you're crying. Sometimes there's anger that comes out, and hopefully it's not coming out on somebody else because it never had anything to do with them in the first place. It all really has to do with you. Even the times that someone is possibly blowing up at us, how are you going to respond? It is an opportunity for how you are going to show up. We know this person's kind of a hot mess, right? How are you going to show up as a person in the viewing of that hot mess that's going on? Whether that's a person, a workplace, whatever way that is, how do you show up? Because you're the one that's accountable. There's only you. No matter what is going on, even when we are in places we're well, that person did this, this, and this, that's very true. And there comes the hard choice. Do we stay? Or do we have self-care and we leave? Right? Do we stay at a job where a boss puts us down because we feel that's the only place that we can, continue making money? Or do we go home and start looking for a new job? and say, you know what, I'm going to have a new job in 2 weeks and I'm going to quit my job. Bye bye, boss, right? Maybe you want to become your own boss. You're tired of playing small. You're tired of working under others, and you want to work with others. You know, maybe you want to be your own boss, but you don't want to boss other people around. You want to actually have a collaboration, a creation where you're bringing into life something that is of worth to yourself and to the rest of the world. All right, I'm just going to double check real quick and see if there's any comments. Yeah, success is driven at a base of love. Okay. Yeah, this conversation goes deep. I mean, last live was death, so can you get deeper than death, really? Like, all right. Good to see you guys. All right, so I'm in Colorado right now. I am on Instagram. When this video is saved, you guys can check out my Instagram link. It's more about places I've been. I travel. I connect with the earth, the grid lines, the waters, and the land, and I've been doing that since 2019. I am a van lifer, pretty much. How can I make my soul as pure as my childhood? One of the ways, so your soul is always pure. That whole thing of being born in sin is more part of religion. When you think about a God of love or a creator of love, can you have love and hate within an eternal being? Love and hate is more of a human thing. It's not in a cosmic, all that there is kind of thing. You can connect with the child within you by having fun. Really, that's what it comes down to. Think about when you were a child, right? I thought about this today. One of my friends was like, don't let my dog go up on you. And I was like, I'm sorry, I don't think about it. I'm like just happy to have that love of that animal. So I start petting that animal, right? There's this thing like, tell him to stay down, stay down. Now, if we were a kid, would we ever do that, really? As a child, we laugh. When a dog comes up to us, if you're not afraid of animals, when a dog would come up to you, it'd be like, oh my God, you're so fuzzy, I love you, right? Participating in childlike things. As adults, we're like, you can't do that. You can't go here. You can't go there. I still ask myself that same question. Because there's the whole trespassing thing, right? You can't trespass. And I will say that sometimes there might be a way that's not infringing on somebody else, but say like you want to get to a mountain or a lake, and the only path that you can find is like between two different properties. In Sedona, this happens a lot, where people know that there's like a through path, and you don't go through someone's yard, but you can go in between and get to the place you want to go. So joy is a way to connect deeper with you. It's also a way to create what you want in your life. What is bringing you joy right now? A couple weeks ago, I realized, I'm like, I feel like I'm having fun here with you guys. And I was at a place in the Rocky Mountains where I was doing little videos, and I was doing small shorts of me like doing snow angels and stuff, and I was posting for you guys because I was taking some time on my own to kind of finish up a class that I was just in. And I needed nature. I needed to be connected to nature and connect deeper to myself. So I went swing dancing. I haven't been swing dancing or dancing in general in forever. And everybody was of an aged age. They were like fine wines. But they were fun, and they showed me an era of dancing that I hadn't seen before. And it was exercise. I got to move. I got to laugh at myself because I didn't know what the heck I was doing. And it was just fun, childlike stuff. I even kind of went against the rules. I didn't know that there were rules, but I went against the rules that I saw on the table later after the event, and I was like, ooh. See, when nobody was there to dance with me, because everyone came with a couple person, I danced by myself. I did all the same moves and moved my body around and just, worked with what I had and just practiced. Hello, Vienna. Wow. Great to see you here. All right. So, I'm looking for questions. If you have questions. I don't know that I'm vegan. I mostly eat very clean and live food. It's occasional that I have had fish, so I don't really categorize myself. I kind of go with what my body is asking for. Yes, Egypt, we're talking about Egypt. Sometimes a person's mind will go out of control. Yes, so when your mind goes out of control, how can you bring it back? One way is your breath. Another way is to give your mind something else to focus on. Abraham Hicks, do you know who that is? That is someone who's been channeling a very long time. I had no idea that it was not just one person. Abraham Hicks comes through someone, is a consciousness that comes through and gives information about how to be more in touch, how to be the creator that you are. And one of those ways is to focus on something completely different. She would say bubbles or butterflies or what do you like as a guy, right? Focus on something else. Focus on a happy thought, a Peter Pan thought, as I like to say. What is your Peter Pan thought? And let your mind just calm down and know that you can always come back to that thought. If that thought was really important, if that thought was actually doing some sort of service to you, where you were trying to complete a task and it was helpful, that's one thing. If the thought is not helpful, then we can kind of flip a switch, and it takes practice to flip the switch, by the way. There's a lot of comments today. Give me a moment. You're having breakfast with me live streaming broadcast. That's interesting. Okay. Let's see. Fear. Okay, yeah, a couple ideas about fear in an old-based tradition. Being wrong was what you were told. Yeah, a lot of the time we have, so this is where we go back to our clear senses. As children, we're constantly being told that we're wrong, right? Or that we shouldn't do that. Or that that's not real. You know better, don't you? You know when something feels right. I'll say that. You know exactly when something feels right. And so we move beyond that. When we go down this path of getting more in touch with a deeper part of ourselves, we start to know and question even the beliefs that we had growing up. And what can we replace that old belief with? That's how we rewire the brain, rewire the mind. A person to look up is Joe Dispenza. He is one of those great experts in rewiring the mind. Also, Greg Braden is another great expert. One of the things I might offer in my community is a different kind of retreat. A chance for people to go on a retreat, because sometimes I found out that some people don't want to go by themselves. Or they don't know what to do with the information when they get home. Like, life goes back to normal. How do I apply these great things that I found? And I was so inspired when I was there at the retreat. But now I'm back to my life, and I got to pick up kids. I got to go to a job. I got to mow the lawn. I got to go to a dance club. Right? You might hear my dog in the background. He's having a little doggy dream there. Hello, India. Looking for more questions. Okay. So my Insta is not in my bio. My Insta would be in the description of the videos that I save. Excuse me. Just a quick question. See. So I've had the longest meditation is probably about 30 to 40 minutes. We're going on 50 minutes or so right now. So we're about ready to come to a close. I am from the land of Illinois, and now I'm a part of many lands. Traveling from Colorado to Mount Shasta to Sedona, traveled to Kentucky, Tennessee, Illinois, Michigan, Iowa, yeah, many states. I have a traveling studio, so when I travel, I meet people along the way, and oftentimes people say that they have space for my wagon, my 26-foot Jayco. And I stay for as long as feels good to stay, really. Sometimes people want me to stay longer, and I'm like, sorry, I gotta go, it's time. I feel a different land mass calling me. Okay. Okay, I love you guys. It's great to see you. Okay. Do you want me to tell you a secret about why people say aliens walk amongst us? That's an interesting question. Do you have the answer to that one? I'll tell you that none of us are human. We all have galactic DNA. Hello, Italy. You're coming in just at the end. Lovely to have you here. Catch it on the replay. This recording will be available tomorrow, you guys. It takes about a day for it to upload, I guess, to YouTube. And you can be a part of the breath work we did in the beginning. I would like to kind of end with some breath work. We've got Pink City, Jaipur, India. Indian, cool, Indian culture. Kudru. I'm not sure where that is. Hello, everybody. Daniel, are you the Daniel that I met in England? Okay, so we got the answer to the question of the aliens. Ready, guys? Oh, hold on. We got, it is because we are encoded with genetics into the human genes, and that's why one of us pops up every 30 to 50 years like Tesla. Hello, guys. Phoebe from France, I loved her. Yes, you have galactic DNA. We're going to be seeing this in the next couple of years. I won't get too much into this. I'm not really the expert on it, but we have had galactic friends here for a long time. You have guides that you connect with, either angelic, galactic, or ascended masters that really do want you to get a little more quiet. Why do you think they want you to get quiet? They want you to get a little bit more in touch with the heart and breathe, because when you're quiet, you're able to hear or get an impression of your soul that is speaking to you, your highest divine aspect that is speaking to you, your guidance that is speaking to you. You're able to hear, and not just hear, but like sometimes see something. When your eyes are closed and you're quiet, you can get an impression of something. But the way it works for me when a message comes through, it's almost like it's an impression of wording for me to say. Sometimes I don't always want to say it because it could be something that I wasn't actually going to share with you guys, or I didn't think it was important to share, and then the impression comes to say that thing. And that's usually when I get quiet and I breathe with you guys. Okay. Not a doctor, not an expert. This is solely life experience, guys. So take whatever resonates, leave the rest behind, come back to it again. You might be in a different energetic field, and there might be something that all of a sudden you're like, oh, okay, yeah, that kind of makes some sense now. Or, oh my God, that thing she talked about, that just happened to me. And now I have the ability to decide how I'm going to handle it, right? All right. Yeah, like a picture can come into your mind or words can come to mind. I don't even know if it's to mind. It's not through the mind that the message comes through. It's through the heart. That's why we connect here with the heart, and then we practice our clear senses. So, yeah, come here every day and your English will improve, although don't count on me too much because I make up words. Oftentimes I'm asking everybody on here, I'm like, was that the right word? Wait, no, that's not the right word. I love words, but I like to be more exact with my words. And occasionally I use something in the wrong context. And I welcome when people say, oh, I think you're looking for that word. All right. Well, thank you guys for joining me. I feel like I need some water. It's been a pleasure connecting with you. Join me here live at 11:11 Pacific time daily. Turn on that bell so you can get the notifications that I'm going live. And yeah, like, response, and like share this video if you get a chance to someone who might appreciate it. I'm gonna say farewell, adieu to you and you and you. And connect. If you're not connecting with me, connect to the deeper part of you. Connect to your child aspect by having some fun. Bring some joy into your life. Write something, draw something, create music. Make a wonderful meal. Share it with somebody. All right, guys. Well, it's a pleasure being with you. I am Love. And as always, we are one. One voice, one heart, one breath. I'll see you tomorrow.